Let's talk a little bit about another miss in terms of, well, its own forecast and what the analysts were thinking. Now, what do you put it down to? We're putting it down to S6 sales, or do you see a deeper malaise?
Well, definitely the Galaxy S6 sales were not as strong as many people hoped. The reasons are, in the first couple of months, the much more demanded Galaxy S6 Edge phone with flexible screen, there was some issue of the supply. So the Samsung Electronics was not able to meet the strong demand for Galaxy S6 Edge. But more surprisingly and disappointingly, in the month of June, when the smartphone Galaxy S6 Edge phone availability has greatly improved, the actual sell-out didn't take off. So that's why the Galaxy S6 sales and Samsung's Q2 earnings were a little bit short of the market's expectation.
A lot of promise there was for this particular phone, Daniel. But again, it goes back to the old argument that Samsung has to position itself somewhere because it's being crushed by Apple at the top and the low-cost rivals from the bottom, right?
Yes, correct. In terms of the competition from the low-cost Chinese smartphone companies, Samsung is still struggling in the low to mid-end segment. So that's why Samsung's total smartphone shipment was still flat YOY, around 75 million units in Q2. That means Samsung still losing market share in the global smartphone space. In the high-end smartphone market, Samsung has to deal with the two big challenges. First of all, the high-end premium smartphone market is nearly saturated. And secondly, the Apple's iPhones, now with a bigger size screen, is eroding Samsung's high-end Android smartphone user base. So these are the big challenges. But the good news is Samsung learned the lesson from last year. So Samsung's inventory control was much more successful than last year. So as a result,
Absolutely,
Samsung's
Daniel,
handset margin is on. Yep.
Daniel, I don't want to. You got onto the positives. Let's leave some of the negatives in the phone business behind. But with the positives in the DRAM business, you see good news there. You also see some good news elsewhere in the company.
Yes, definitely Samsung's memory semicon division is still booming. And their Samsung's semicon profits in Q2 is estimated over 3.1 trillion won. It's about 2 times bigger than 2-3 years ago. So Samsung's strong DRAM business is filling up the gap of the handset division's profit shortfall.
Daniel, we've only got about 20 seconds left. Now, all this news at the moment, you've got an outperform on a Samsung stock. Do you maintain that?
Yes. Samsung's valuation merits increasingly attractive, trading at 1.1 times book. After the market's expectation level has come down to earth, and 1.1 times book is a very attractive level. And more importantly, their earnings are far more diversified than 3 years ago. 3 years ago, their profits were highly dependent on mobile, but now Samsung's earnings are more diversified, partly coming from the semicon, partly coming from the mobile.